Hello and welcome to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, and I'm here today with Mitch Levy from the Old Town Association, and Mitch is the newest president of the Old Town Association, which is continuing to do a great job. But just based on what you understand, Mitch, what is the history of Old Town? Because I know it was here before I arrived in town, and that's been 10 years now. So.
Well, from what I understand, the Old Town Association has been around since the late 80s, early 90s, and it's a volunteer organization that the merchants can join. Dues right now are $60 for a year, and that gets them on our website, and we advertise links to their website from ours. We have a Facebook page. We have an upcoming event that for Safe Night for Halloween that we supply them with start-off candy for all the kids that come around. So we've been around close to 20 years.
And that's probably the key is, I mean, talk a little bit about, you know, kind of the mission and the goals of the Old Town Association.
Well, our mission is to promote the merchants downtown that belong to the association. We're kind of like the chamber. If you don't belong to the chamber, they don't promote you. We're the same way. That we want you to join, and for $60 a year each merchant, that's not that much. It's not asking a whole lot. We even will take merchants that aren't in Old Town. We call them Friends of Old Town. And we're starting to get a lot of support from other merchants outside of Old Town, understanding that it's really a big draw, Old Town to Cottonwood. The wineries are really helping out, and some of the nice restaurants are helping out. We're about 95% of the business belong to Old Town now. We're at 57 members, which is the highest number we've ever been at. So I'm pleased to hear that, and I kind of believe I had a little bit to do with that.
Good. You know, the other thing too is I think the definition of or the boundaries of Old Town are kind of changing a little bit too. It's getting a little harder to define what is Old Town these days.
Well, we're still going from bridge to bridge. We kind of extend that one to Wild Hog. So it's from really Wild Hog all the way to the other bridge outside, you know, to where the Hippie Emporium is.
Right.
So that's really the definition. But we keep on getting different ideas what Old Town is also. So.
Yeah, because I know the city talked at one time, well, we better, you know, kind of put the entrance into Old Town out at 10th and Main Street. But I don't know if that's going to be sufficient because it does seem to keep expanding out. And as you go that way, you got the cemetery and some of the old buildings. Even the schoolhouse, I mean,
right.
You know, is an old building that could fit in the historic district down there. But it's just exciting to see, you know, the interest in Old Town and kind of the growth.
I think what helps is all the different events that we put on, not only for the merchants, but for the local people also. I'll use the next event that we have, Safe Night. You know, kids don't go around the houses anymore. They start, up in Jerome, they go to Clarkdale, and then they hit Old Town. But if you're a member of Old Town, I just purchased 60,000 pieces of candy. We have 47 people participating in the event that will split that 60,000 into, you know, equal parts, and we'll hand them all. And that's a start, because you're going to run out. If you don't give each kid 1 or 2 pieces, you're going to run out pretty quick. Because last year we feel we had about 4,000 kids that came through.
You know, and you're right. I mean, that's just the start. A lot of these businesses, you know, they buy their own candy too, and I know there's some who serve hot cider or hot chocolate, right. Those kind of things. It's really a pretty nice family event.
It really is. It's really kind of neat to sit out there and watch the kids go through and talk to the parents and everything else, and I'm really glad that they feel it is safe, and they'd like to see that Old Town is really cleaned up and really come into a nice place to see.
You know, and that's certainly a big difference when I first got here. I mean, when I came in as the police chief, and I always loved Old Town, thought it was a great kind of diamond in the rough tourist destination, but it needed some work. And you know, a lot of the shop owners down there really pitched in, and everybody worked together to kind of clean it up down there and you know, make it a tourist destination. So it's been a great team effort for everybody down there.
Yeah, and everybody works hard. We like the image that we have. We like that we're tourist friendly, that we go out of our way to make everybody welcome.
So okay, so that's the next event, but I think is there one? No, there's one after that with Walking on Main.
Walking on Main, which is November 8th.
kind of a city event, but certainly a lot of cooperation, coordination with the Old Town Association on that one as well.
Well, the Verde Valley Wine Consortium is going to have, from what I understand, 16 wineries will be down there. We're the sponsor of the stage for the music, but they'll have artists there like they did last year, and hopefully the merchants will put stuff out onto the sidewalk for them, everyone to see. But it's a nice event from 11 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Any hints on who the entertainment is this year?
You're going to have Hez on that one. I have no word on that one yet.
Yeah, our event coordinator, Hez Allen, usually puts those together, but I know there's usually a focus on predominantly blues, I think, and maybe some jazz. But again, 16 wineries, that's got to be a record number of participating wineries.
It is. We're really happy because I'm on the Verde Valley Wine Consortium board also, and we're very pleased that this many wineries wanted to get involved.
And, that's probably important to mention too, because Mitch was one of those guys that came down and invested in Old Town and brought his winery down, which is Burning Tree, and nice place to go have a glass of wine and listen to some music, particularly on the weekends. So, again, just a great opportunity for the Old Town area down there. So, Walking on Main, and I know we always get a good showing for that, and that's really directed at both locals and out-of-town visitors, and we do close off the street, so just be aware of that. But Cactus will be open for that event. And then after that, I know one of my favorite events comes up, which is the Chocolate Walk.
With the VIP chocolate walk or the chocolate walk?
I kind of like them both, but I guess I'm learning over the last couple of years to really appreciate the wine and chocolate on Friday night.
Yeah, I started that about 3 years. This will be the third year for the VIP chocolate walk. That's on December 6th, and it's you get the chocolate in the 4 wineries. And then the next day on the 6th is the chocolate walk. And again, we have a record number of merchants. We have 43 merchants participating, all the way from Verde Floral all the way down to the end of the bridge.
And if you haven't participated in Chocolate Walk, if you participate Saturday night and actually go around all 43, you're going to have enough chocolate to last you for, at least a year, I would think. Even if you're a hearty chocolate eater. But and what's the cost for each of those events?
It's $25 a piece.
Okay.
For the VIP, you get a nice glass that says Chocolate Walk, VIP Chocolate Walk. And then you'll go to each winery, you get a sample of wine and a piece of chocolate. And then the following day, you're going to get a bag and a map with all 43 merchants that are giving out chocolate. And that's from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening. So you have 4 hours to hit up 43 different merchants.
And I know, again, this is directed both at locals and people from out of town. And I know over the last several years, we get people coming up from Phoenix thinking they're going to buy a ticket, and they're sold out because there is a limit, isn't there, on Saturday night?
450 tickets, I believe it is, and we're selling them like crazy. And we get a lot of people from Phoenix. This is the 19th annual Chocolate Walk.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good indication of how long the Old Town Association has been in business.
I'm not sure if it started with the association or who started it, but we are definitely continuing with it, and we're looking forward to trying to do something special for next year for the 20th.
So the important point to make here is if you haven't bought your tickets for Chocolate Walk, you can go online.
You go online
at oldtown.org.
Right.
And you can order and buy your tickets right online. So get in there and do it. I know the VIP Chocolate Walk on Friday night seems to be building each year.
Right.
And is there a limit on the number of tickets for that?
There's 100 to that, and they're selling out pretty quick also, so if you want that. And we have a lot of people that get both. They get a place to stay, and if they bring their kids, they kind of do that by themselves. The next day, it's all about the kids. So yeah, it is building. We've been asked to raise it to 150, but that's getting a little bit out of hand, I think.
And that's a good point, because I've already got a couple of friends coming up from the Valley area, and I'm checking on rooms, and they're tough to get. So get your tickets, get your rooms for your relatives, because it's filling up fast. Let us go ahead and take our first break, and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about Old Town.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of the child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Could be. Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, here with Mitch Levy, president of the Old Town Association, and we're talking about the numerous events that come up in Old Town and what's going on down there. And we were talking about the Chocolate Walk, and probably the important thing to mention too is that morning of the Chocolate Walk is the Chamber of Commerce Christmas Parade.
Oh, yeah.
Which always draws a lot of people, and I think that's growing every year too. They're getting bigger and bigger, and so that's a great way to start the day. And then we do our Christmas lighting ceremony in the early evening, I think around 7-8 o'clock, and officially turn on our Christmas light display, which I gotta put in a plug for Yavapai Broadcasting, who's our big partner on getting those Christmas lights out there, which are absolutely spectacular. So, and hopefully we're going to be able to expand those a little bit more this year. So, our budget's a little thin, but we're trying to add to it every year to push it down the street and make it more of a street long kind of display.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah. So, so then we kind of get through Christmas. Anything planned after the first of the year?
Yeah, in May we'll have our second annual Run for the Roses. We're going to continue with that. Everybody was really excited about how it turned out. It's still up in the air if we're going to do the bootlegger ball. It's going to be probably a different format. We're not going to do the auction or whatever. We'll probably just have the ball, and then the next day will be the Run for the Roses, and with the wooden sawhorses again. That was fun.
Yeah, that it was the first annual last year, and it was the same weekend as the Kentucky Derby, right?
We're going to change that, though.
You're going to change it?
We're going to change that.
Think you can get more people down there?
Yeah, probably the next. Well, plus it was the same as the fair.
Yeah,
that's important, and that drew
right.
a lot of people. So it might be the next weekend.
Okay. Yeah, if you didn't make it down there for that, that was really a lot of fun. Great participation from the merchants down there, and some good competition. But I'm a little bit disappointed about Bootlegger Ball. I thought that was a pretty nice event too.
It was a great event, but unfortunately, it cost a little bit more than we expected to. So I think if we retool it, there's so many people, since I made the announcement that we weren't going to do it, I've had a lot of feedback that everybody wants it. So we're going to do it again. We're just going to kind of retool it, make it more cost effective. We'll still have a band, and we're still talking about bringing the Sammy Davis Band back.
He was great.
He was fantastic.
You know, and again, that was an event kind of nostalgic to go back and actually hold the ball at the old Civic Center, which is a wonderful place to have that. I mean, a little warm if the temperatures are up there, but it was a great experience.
I'm glad that you mentioned the Civic Center. Besides walking on Main, there's a historic walk, their first annual historic walk, and all the proceeds are going to go towards the renovation of the Civic Center.
That's right, and I'm glad you mentioned that. Otherwise, I'd be in big trouble with my council member, Tim Alinsky, who's kind of taken that on. And
it's going to start off small, but I think it's going to turn in pretty big because there's a lot of historic buildings, to include the one I'm in.
Absolutely.
I've been around since, 1901?
Yeah. So
it's kind of interesting to hear just the history on that itself.
And there's some great stories with some of those buildings down there, too.
Well, there's tunnels underneath some of the buildings.
Yeah, which if you haven't really gotten an opportunity to learn about the history of Old Town, it's definitely worthwhile. It's got a rich, very interesting history.
That's why we're the bootlegger capital.
Which some people don't like that, but the history is clearly there. So.
Yeah. And then we go on to September with Thunder Valley Rally.
Back around again. And I know the other event that seemed to contribute a lot to Old Town was Tilted Earth Festival.
Absolutely. In June, absolutely.
In June. A little hot, but it's the summer solstice. and so we're gonna try and work again with Page Springs and all the wineries to make that an even bigger 2-day event, I think, this year. And I thought that was very successful last year.
For the first year, that was an outstanding event. We were really pleased with that event as a participant. It was really nice.
You know, and I know a lot of people get concerned that maybe there's too much focus on Old Town. And I mean, how do you respond to that, Mitch?
Well, I hear from a lot of the merchants how come a lot of the ads are talking about the wineries and stuff like that, but we don't spend any money on any wine ads. They always go out to general magazines or newspapers or publications that cover all tourism, and we don't advertise in any specific wine magazines. The OTA this year, with their dues and the money we raise from the Chocolate Walk and from Thunder Valley Rally, what we get, we're going to spend also with the matching funds that we get, $38,000 on advertising. So a $60 fee to get $38,000 back, that's a pretty good dividend on that. I just tell people, it really doesn't matter how they come to Old Town, long as they're here and you welcome them, I don't care.
Absolutely. You know, I think the other thing is, too, maybe some of the merchants outside of Old Town feel a little left out, but the reality is Old Town is a travel destination, tourist destination, and the more people we can get into town, even if they're going to Old Town, they see everything else that is available in the city of Cottonwood. So hopefully they're stopping and buying gas, they're eating at restaurants, going to the markets, stopping wherever they see it.
Staying at all the hotels.
Absolutely.
I mean, Thunder Valley Rally, every hotel in Verde Valley, every camping site, everything was sold out.
Which is great for the Verde Valley economy.
Right.
It really benefits everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't just affect Old Town, it's the whole Verde Valley.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Let's go ahead and take our next break, and then we'll come back and kind of finish up.
Oh, look, a redhead.
Staring contest.
You still got it.
I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Welcome back to Inside Cottonwood. I'm your host, Doug Bartosh, here with Mitch Levy from the Old Town Association. And we've been talking about a lot of the events going on in Old Town and throughout the year, and those that are coming up in the near future here. But a lot of people may not know some of the new merchants that have moved into Old Town. And I know there's been several. What's it looking like down there these days?
All the buildings are starting to fill up, that's for sure. You've got Old Town Frame Company, used to be John's Design Center, is moving down. Hopefully they'll be open by November 1st. Then you got Triple Diamond Distillery out of Kingman that opened up right next to Arizona Stronghold. And then you have a yoga studio that opened up right across the street from me and right next to Foxy Fashions. You have Revolution Wines that'll be opening up sometime next year. They're still planning on doing that.
And I know we still have the Old Town Brewing Company, which is going into the old Parks and Rec building. From what I understand, they're in design right now, and we'll be moving forward on that. I know the city is working on paving that lot next to the Civic Center, which it needs to be done, make that more handicap accessible into the Civic Center, and so that's moving along. I know we've got some guys that are talking about a Scottish pub down there, and it'd be a Scottish pub and restaurant. And so if you're interested in Scottish cuisine, this will be the place to go. But, and I know there's a lot of, bocce's. I don't know if everybody's been to bocce's yet, but that certainly seems to be a popular place these days. Your place, Crema, Red Rooster, Seed.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't been to Seed, great stuff. So, just a lot of really positive things happening down there.
Yeah, it's a nice place to hang out. The one thing we'd like to try and work on is getting the merchants stay open a little bit later. That's always been kind of a hard-pressed thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, because it does seem like you get a pretty good crowd down there for dinner. And, particularly on the weekend nights, even Thursday night, but Friday night, Saturday night, seems like there's a lot of people that go down there.
That's why I extended my hours till 7 o'clock during the week and 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday, is because after they go out to dinner, they want to go to have a glass of wine someplace else. So I'll be open for them, not a problem.
And again, I know you have music, ASV has music. The old original Cactus Kate's usually has something going on.
Pillsbury has music. Fire Mountain has music.
Yeah. So I mean, you really have an opportunity to look at a lot of interesting stuff down there. And
Riot has music.
Yeah, that's right. Riot.
I was told there's more music in Old Town Cottonwood now than Sedona on any Friday or Saturday night.
Yeah, yep, I believe that. And I know we get a lot of people from all over the Verde Valley and even Sedona. And a lot of people are coming down here for the restaurants, for the wine tasting, those kind of things, which, that's a nice compliment to what's been going on here. So, I think the one we forgot to mention was the new Greek restaurant.
Oh, that's right.
Ancient Pillars.
Ancient Pillars.
Again, very good food and a great place to go spend some time. And particularly if you're interested in Greek cuisine. So, I mean, we're going to have it all represented down there pretty soon. I think the other one that we forgot to mention is Moraga.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the street, a new Mexican restaurant. Great place to go grab a margarita and get some Mexican food. So, a lot of neat things happening down there. Yeah. So, and, I think the other thing that seems, kind of beneficial too is Clarkdale's seems to be really picking up in terms of their effort to economically kind of generate some business up there. I know they've got the new 4-8 wine tasting room, and they're doing a lot of kayaking on the Verde.
Last weekend they just had Clarktoberfest.
That's right. And I know we get a lot of those people that come back through Cottonwood or go through Cottonwood, and again, great way to advertise what's going on here in Cottonwood.
People just don't shoot down 89A. They actually come through Cottonwood and go into Clarkdale and then to Jerome, which is nice.
Yeah.
So we're catching a lot of people's attention.
And again, I think a lot of people sometimes see it as a competition, but in reality, all of our chambers work together very well. All of our economic development people work very, very well together. And with the recognition that, where people used to just come to Sedona and stay at Sedona, they may still stay in Sedona, but they're learning about every area of the Verde Valley because there's so much to offer here. And so they stay at Sedona this time, but maybe they'll be down in Cottonwood the next time they come to stay, or they'll stay, 2 or 3 extra days just so they can get around and see everything. And certainly the wine industry has added a big dimension to that.
Yeah, I think once the wineries move in, you start getting really nicer restaurants. It kind of worked the other way around with Nick's opening, and then the tavern and everything, and then the wineries started moving in. Then you get Bocce, then you get Ancient Pillars, and then you get Seed, and the Schoolhouse. You can't go without them.
Yeah.
Chris is doing an absolutely amazing job over there. That you're getting some really nice restaurants, and then the stores follow them. So it's really nice, and people realize that we're more down to earth. We're not as pretentious as Napa, I guess you could say, that we care more about the customers. And it's a whole different experience in a tasting room here than over in California. We want people to stay. We want people to relax. That's why we have music. to get comfortable and stay a while.
And certainly I used to hear it all the time, and I think we're beginning to rectify that as, we'd get people coming in to taste wine, and there'd always be a couple in the crowd that say, I really don't like wine. I like beer or something different. And so we're even getting some diversity in that area now with, even though it's not in Old Town, we have that brewery. And again, I think we will have some more breweries. I know we've got Bootleggers that serves beer. And
right. I was just getting ready to say, you have Bootleggers right there, so it's nice. So if you get someone that doesn't like wine, 2 doors up the street, we have Bootleggers. They got all kinds of beer up there. You stay here, and spouse can go up there.
Right. And again, I think it's important, and it's not only come and taste wine or taste beer. It's taste. Greek food or, wood-fired pizza or whatever, and then stay the night.
Right.
So even if you have a little bit too much to drink, you're not out driving on the roadway, which
right.
I think is an important message we send to people. And our police chief has shared with me that we're not seeing the impact of it. We're not seeing the negative of DUIs increasing or serious accidents or anything like that.
I think we all go out of our way to make sure that no one even gets to that point. But I think the biggest thing is people realizing that they can leave Phoenix or Flagstaff or Prescott, come over here and kind of decompress, and we have great food, great restaurants, and great stores.
Okay. And I think one of the last things maybe we should talk about is Thunder Valley Rally, because I think there's a lot of positive to it, and it's an event that just continues to kind of grow and grow. Yet I know there's some negative connotation to that too. And so, what's the general perspective of the Old Town Association? I mean, do most of the merchants support Thunder Valley Rally down there?
I'm going to say about 90% of the merchants support Thunder Valley Rally, and then you always have, you're not going to please everybody.
Right.
You have some people who just don't like bikers. They think the noise is too loud. They don't like the music on the street. It interferes with their business. But it's a day-and-a-half event that brings in a lot of revenue to Verde Valley, that every hotel and everything is sold out. When I try and explain to them, it's going to happen. Get your merchandise geared for a couple days towards motorcycle people. I mean, it's not like it was back in the 60s. The average motorcycle now costs about $30,000 after you put a few things on it. And the average income for someone that rides is $85,000. So you're not talking about someone that doesn't have a job, that's got a rat bike just going from one place to another. It's a whole different class. Last year, I had a group of guys that were in my tasting room. They were all doctors. Yeah. And they were out of Phoenix, coming up, just getting out of town for the weekend.
Yeah, and that's really true, because I know there's a lot of police officers that ride, a lot of firefighters that ride, lawyers, like you said, doctors. I mean, one of my partners that I ride with is a chief medical officer for, a major hospital down in the valley. I mean, it's just a way to get out and relax, and certainly been my experience that, these are the kind of people that give the shirt off your back. I mean, it's, they're just good people. They're not here to cause problems. For the most part, everybody gets along. And it's almost interesting, because it seems like anytime our police department has a problem during those events, it's with somebody who lives locally.
It's a local.
Yeah, so, no, it's a good event. We do get some negative feedback, and it's something that we look at every year to try and minimize that impact if there's some way to do it. But like you say, there is a real positive economic impact.
And they come back throughout the year. They realize Cottonwood's a friendly town, and it's only an hour and a half, 45 minutes outside Phoenix, so they know for a short ride or a drive in the car, they can unwind.
Well, and I think that's the other thing too, is, those bikes, you can't carry a lot of stuff in them,
right? Like
a lot of bottles of wine or olive oil or whatever, but it's exposure. It gets people here, and, I think the reality is we know they come back.
Yeah.
So whether it's on their motorcycle, because I know probably 6-7 years ago, we hardly ever saw a motorcycle ride through town. Now every day there's probably, at least 50 to 100 bikes that ride through town every
Well,
day.
we put that motorcycle parking in front of my business because there was no parking there,
Right.
and it's being used every day now.
Yeah.
There's at least one bike, if not more, every day in one part of that parking we put in.
Well, we're just about out of time, and so thanks for joining us, Mitch, and all the work you do. And you know, if you don't hang out in Old Town or go down there and check it out, you really should. It's not the place that it used to be. I mean, it is vibrant, it is happening, and I think it's doing a lot to drive the economy for the rest of the city, and that's a positive for everybody. So thanks again, Mitch. Come back and join us soon on Inside Cottonwood.